Hey, hey guys. Sorry I couldn't be here yesterday for the Friday update. Yeah, nice wizard beer, thanks. But as I don't know if they told you, my house the last few months has had one issue after another, and yes, yesterday, well, it's actually late Thursday night. All sorts of stuff started going wrong, and by 4 in the morning, not only did we not have water, but the house actually sounded like it was haunted. It was crazy stuff. It was wild. I was up all night with it. And then Friday was all day with the various contractors who were coming to try to fix it. And it was one of those Alphonse and Gaston, kind of situations where first guys came in and said, "Oh, it's not us. It must be those guys." Next guys came in and said, "Not us. We're fine. Must have been those guys." And then the other guy said, "Oh no, it's not us and it's not them, so it must be something else." So by the third set of contractors who came to the house, they finally figured out what was going on. So by about 6 p.m., problems were solved. But I had to be there all day, unfortunately. So yeah, I came in here today to get a few things done, and I figured, since I was just sitting here anyway, I could do probably about 30, 40 minutes of streaming before I head out to a playtest of the Depths board game. So, yeah, that's it. So, how's everybody today? Yeah, the beard is coming in pretty well. Lady J is boy, can't wait to for me to trim it. Which I'm going to do as soon as we either get into beta or I just get sick of it, or she gets sick of it, whichever comes first. Hopefully, it will be the beta. Oh, Brooksky in Trinidad and Tobago. That's certainly nicer than it's been here for the last. Well, today is just fine for the last few weeks. So congrats on that. Congrats on that. One of these days, I'll remember how to change the stream name for this. So while I'm sitting here and getting some other stuff done, if you guys have any questions for me, I will certainly be very happy to answer them. Especially again because I wasn't here yesterday. Mike's too quiet. Sure, let me fix that. Okay. Is this better, guys? Better or worse? Cool. So as I was saying, yeah, if you guys got any questions for me while I, play around with a few things here, I'll be happy to talk about them. How goes the hiring? Busy as heck. Like I have been spending so much time on that. I haven't had as much time for other things. Um, it's all good. It's all very good. But it's just very, very time consumptive. Extremely time consumptive. And that's actually the reason I came in today. I was to take care of something for a candidate. So that done, that was really the one big thing I wanted to come in here for, other than do some stuff on crafting. Let's see, Hotfire. In terms of build a squad, well, as you could see, we're obviously making progress with Cube. So as soon as we know we're in good shape with that, we want to get the build a squad going. As always, I don't want to waste people's time, and if we're trying to do something serious with the Builders Brigade, and then we can't back it up on our end code-wise, then people get frustrated. So. But the good news is, yes, it is moving along. And in hiring, like I said, we've been very busy. We've had some really good candidates. Um, you know how I feel about making announcements until we actually get the butts in the seats. But hopefully we'll have at least one or two announcements next month. Have you been able to start transitioning back into design work? Yes, Adrian, I have. I've been working on crafting here, and I've been working on some other stuff at home. And so, yes, that is absolutely something that has gone. Transition has gone well. Brain is almost back to where it needs to be in terms of focus. I'm still doing some, obviously hiring things and some other biz dev things, but not in the way that I was before, where it was just totally focused on that and didn't have time or the spare bandwidth to do anything else. From Nikki, how will players know where to go to fight battles? Well, scouts, of course, as you say, are supposed to help you out. There'll be a magical way to do it that won't be automatic, it won't be hand-holdy, and it will require work of the scouts and other players, but yeah, you'll be able to do that. Ranger, hey, welcome, new person. Is this going to be open world PvP? Yes, 100%. Well, sorry, almost 100%, because we have reserved the right to use battlegrounds instances for new players to get them up to speed. But other than that, full world PvP, no, it will not be full loot. Sorry, Ranger. Just like Dark Age and Warhammer, I'm a believer in, of course, not full loot PvP for these kind of games. So no, you won't be able to do that. On the other hand, again, full open world, all realm based, 3 separate factions. Everyone on your guys who are Dark Age players or Warhammer players know this, as well as some other games. Know this from me. Everyone on your realm is your friend, should be your friend, and everyone else is your enemy. So hopefully you'll like that. Let's see. Savius, you mentioned a while back a position at CSE. Ooh, I think Max is coming in. Hang on a sec, because Max could tell me the magical way to change the name of the stream. Hang on. Good timing. So how do I change the name of the stream again? He told me how to do this once, and I know I got it right one time, but I do not remember.
You got to log into either Twitch or Restream.
That's right. That's right. I forgot. Okay, well, I don't know if it's worth bothering with. What do you think?
I don't know. How much longer are you planning on streaming?
Until we go up to the game store.
So like another half an hour?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to change the name on the Twitch recorded videos anyway.
So no?
It's probably not worth it.
Okay, groovy. So I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to go get some water. You can say hi to Max.
Hi, folks. I saw John's car out front. Is he here too?
Okay, hey, I am back. All right, so where were we? Savias, yes, you mentioned a position a while back that would not be programming related. We have a few positions that are not programming related. Not sure which one I meant. I might have meant community management. So I'm not quite sure. Could have been the additional artists we've hired. So if you can give me some context around that, I can answer it. Triple Q, is there something for more casual players? Actually, the game is being designed so that casual players can succeed in the game. We've been very clear from the beginning that this is a horizontally based progression game. It is not about who can level to 60 or 50 or 160 the fastest. So for a casual player who wants to come in and, again, play casually, for a little bit a day or a few hours every week, you can actually make progress. So I think the casual players will enjoy this game, whether it's crafting or combatants. You can, succeed. Hey, two cats. Yeah, the beard is certainly a different look for me. So yeah, got split opinions on it. Some people love it. Some people, mainly Lady J, doesn't like it. I don't know if I'll keep it past beta, but we'll see. Swazi mentioned in Discord. Hmm, that didn't involve programming. Oh, again, that's right now artists, would be one position. We have a community manager, so it can't be that. Um, so I'm not quite sure who mentioned it because I know that everything that we've been doing is in terms of programming, like the one you've just picked up, Swazi. That is a programming position, but it is not a game development position. You do not have to be a gaming guy for that site to get that job. Is no, it's the opposite. I think you're thinking of vertical progression. With horizontal progression, you're not, even if you're a little bit behind. Let's say you started a month later than other people. If you were playing in a typical vertical progression game, which is the vast majority of RPGs out there, and it doesn't matter whether it's MMO, single player, it's all the same thing. Tabletop. Um, most obviously storytelling games, and some others being different. But with all these games, if you are way behind the other people, and in MMO terms these days, a month is like forever. These, your friends, your, guildmates, well, out level you so much that you're kind of screwed. Um, you're way behind. You can't compete in the same areas. Horizontal progression is different. Um, the power curve in our game, and we said this right from the beginning, between a new player and a guy a few months out, is not a lot. Uh, it isn't like it's, again, a typical vertical game where nowadays in an MMO you can level to the max within a month or a couple months. That's not how this game is going to work. So getting a little bit behind is not a problem. So not a problem in our game. So do not worry about that. Again, it's designed because it's a horizontal game, and the way I want the skills to progress. Yeah, come in a month late. Great. So maybe you don't have all the same skills as somebody else does, but it won't make that much of a difference. Otherwise, we're screwed. I mean, it's the same thing in any of the vertical progression games. Unless you can level almost instantly, or you have the auto level or other things, you're so far behind the guys who've been there 6 months, a year, that they might as well, they can breathe on you and you die. That's not this kind of game. Swazi, are we still on track as far as I know? And that's always, and the problem with estimates is, of course, they're estimates. We could be on track one day, and then a week later we can be off because everything went badly. But you guys have seen, you've seen what we've been doing in the testing. You've seen obviously the progress. You've seen the stability. Um, we already are showing something that other games can't do. 300 or more players slash NPCs slash bots running around, and the game just handles it beautifully. So, yeah, lots and lots of progress. And hopefully, if we get some of the people that we're talking to in terms of hiring, we'll be even better shape. Is how do you envision multiple players building together to create a walled city? Yeah, that's obviously an important part of the game. That's where plot permissions come in. That's where a level of cooperation between the players has to be supported by us on the code side, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We see people absolutely working together to bring in, the materials, to bring in their, assistance, as we've talked about, during a presentation, to help build these structures, whatever they are, whether it's a keep, whether it's a house, whether it's a castle. So yes, you have to be able to work together, and that's our job, really, as developers, to give you guys the tools to, share and build. Oh, I know you do, Swazi. I know you got. I know you get it. No worry. Going back on plot points is are they free form? No, they're not. They can't be. We have to lay out the plots, and then people can get them. They can't keep growing indefinitely, because if they grow indefinitely, then of course you're kind of going to be screwing over the other players who are going to be coming in. Can you combine plots, however, with other people? Yes, you can, because that's kind of important. Any hint, is Adrian, any hint on what the next class trio to be added after Beta 1 launch might be? I'm certainly leaning towards getting the mages in. I want to see them in and having some fun. But we'll see. Everything depends on how beta goes. If we see from the beta that, we don't want the mages in first, because with the archers, we already have our long range damage dealers, at least one long range damage dealer in. And for those who've seen the beta, or sorry, the alpha, When we say long range, we really mean long range. But I hope it will be the mages, but we'll see. Let's see, Remus underscore. Do I think that we will change some of our core foundations or core fundamentals slash foundational principles after the game based on the demands of new players? No, no, no. Look, yeah, you folks, especially the ones who've been with us since the Kickstarter, have seen one thing from us besides delays, and that is a stick to itness when it comes to the foundational principles. If at the end of the day we decide that something in there has to be changed because it's not fun, that's one thing. And you guys know that. But what's really important is that we don't do it in a way that betrays what we've told our backers. And you folks are our backers, not the investors. You're the guys and gals who backed us, since day one. And so, new players coming in and saying, "Oh, we need to make this easier." No, no. If we feel it needs to be easier because we missed stuff in beta, sure, that's a whole different story. But, we're not trying to make this a game for everybody. I know how to make a game like that. I have no interest, certainly not now, in making a game like that. I'm trying to make a game here um, that is going to work for our core audience, you folks. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about us changing. Let's see. Hardfire, selling horses. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Different horses and different hair, and then you can have all sorts of saddles, and then you can tempting. I know, tempting. Certainly when you see the money that certain games like I don't know Star Citizen are making. We it is a temptation, but no, we're not doing that. Wab. Yeah, I am gay. I have that Santa look going on. I thought about dyeing it, but a few people said, no, don't dye it. All right, so I'm not. Do you think we would prepare? Uh, oh, I'm not throwing shade. God, if I ever wanted to throw shade at people, you guys would know it. You've seen when I've done it a couple of times over the decades. If I'm going to throw shade, oh man, so much, so shady. Anyway, so is about games feeling stale. Yes, obviously, we're not going to introduce classes, and races after launch unless we've already thoroughly tested them. They would probably be done well before they were released to you folks. That's the whole point. It's one of the things with IT. That's something we want to absolutely do post launch. Savias, beard oil. What's my favorite? Don't use it. My son does, or did. He just shaved his off. So I think I bought one and just went, don't care. So no, I just do it the old fashioned way. Triple Q. I want game combat to be slower. That's correct. Any class that'd be really reaction based. Well, it depends how you want to define reaction. If you're defining reaction by, "Hey, look at me, I'm bunny hopping, and I'm able to put out more actions per minute than you," no, that nothing's designed that way. but reaction based. Look, the whole air system. Everything we want to do with fighters. So I would count that as absolutely reaction based. Swazi is. Do I have any gift that's a favorite? It's so hard. We've got some amazing things. One of our obviously backers sent us this amazing tapestry. We have the stuffed ocelot. We have just this great collection of everything from the amazing to the ridiculous to the sublime. So no, I have no favorites. I have just wonderful feelings for all the people who've done such wonderful things for us. Is Air for Beta 1 Arcane? No, 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 no. No, no, no. That has to come in with the mages, which is another reason why mages are not in the first trio. Wyan, will the combat system be like Deox? We get parry styles, box styles. I'll wait and see. Obviously, we've talked very much right from the beginning about reactionaries, positionals, things like that. So I think if you like Deox and you like systems where you have to think a little more and not just button mash, you'll like our system. Hotfire, don't you think that class balancing is an illusion? Well, it's not an illusion, but I wouldn't say that class balancing is an illusion. I would say having a balanced game is an illusion. I think that's very important. You can never balance a game like this. Not totally. Max is behind me.
You want to show something cool on stream?
Sure. What do we got cool?
All right. Very early, not final art on some pieces that were glued together by me for the board game.
Max did gluing.
There we go.
Yeah.
So
this is
Chomp. And got your healthy wounded token. This is just on the.
I think you need to.
Wow.
See where you're coming out.
Okay.
There we go. All right, pull it back. Oh, there you go.
Let's see. The delay makes this extra confusing.
Max is confused easily.
Yeah.
Here, give me one.
All right.
Let's see if I can do it the right way. Okay, we're going to try this. Get it lined up. Come on. Come on. Love the Twitch delay. Love it.
You can open the OBS, actually.
Hey, there we go. So there we go. There's where you want to be, Max. So yeah, this is stuff from the board game, which we're going to go test in a little bit. There's some folks over at the local game store, one of the local game stores. A little bit closer. Hey, ready for your close-up? Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, getting our tokens in shape. Oops.
These are the very earliest
Hang on, Max.
of their kind. Thank you. A little more art than my MS Paint skills.
Yeah. What's the name of the one we're going to, Max?
Comics and Gaming.
Jerry, I'm just putting it in the Twitch chat now.
Although I think they recently changed their name to Paradise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
That's what it says on their business card.
Oh. Paradise?
Yeah.
One word or three, like paradise? Huh?
3 words. I've got the link.
On fire. Yeah, that'd be a little bit tough for you to make it. Well, Jeer Bear will be there. When the session starts at 1, I'll probably be there from 1 to 2 ish. Um, but we will, Max will certainly be there.
That should be enough time to get a game in.
Yeah. Yeah, is talk to Elon. Yeah, at 6 billion a year that he wants for his salary. That was intriguing when I saw that. Mighty, no, we're just talking about doing. It's another one of our weekly or bi-monthly play tests of our board game, and so we're heading there in about a half hour. Fly Mario. I wouldn't say this is based on Dark Age of Camelot, of course, because it can't be, but it is based on the lore that I and Mythic used for Dark Age, with just a few twists. A friendly, handy dandy apocalypse to shake things up. So you will recognize certainly some of the characters. You'll recognize the three basic realms, but then things get different. Is on previous Friday streams we were talking about controlling islands and boats, etc. Yeah, so backlines have to be attackable. We can't focus all of the action on the front, what would be considered the front lines, because if you do that, then your game really just becomes Zerg versus Zerg, and that's not what we're looking for here. We really want to be able to have you folks be able to go to different areas, go to different islands, go to different objectives. Especially if you're in a small group. If this game is just Zerg versus Zerg, we're not going to be very successful. On the other hand, if we have a game where there, the folks who want to Zerg, who want to cooperate, who want to work together, can do that. But at the same time, smaller groups can go out and still contribute to the war effort. Then we have a very good chance of success. And of course, that's what we want. Fly Mario, I'm working on RPG myself and basing some of the ideas on Dayak, which is the best MMO ever. I think it's certainly one of the best. Look, I love it. It was a great game. It is a great game made by a great team. But there are other great games. I will say that, in my humble opinion, it is the best RVR game ever. We really did it right. And hopefully you folks will feel the same way about this. Is looking forward to my next law writing. Is that the one you were talking about? That is certainly something I want to do. Uh, the real insane. Sorry, the real insane. World class is in by beta one. No, 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 no. We've not promised that. So no, not going to happen. Sorry. Flame Mary, does Camelot Unchained have PvE and PvP? Yes, it has both. It is not a PvE leveling game unless you're a crafter, but it does have PvE stuff. Okay. You were trying to get more on the detaching of islands. So yeah, I mean the only thing that we've done so far is talk about it with you folks, and it all works via the stabilizers. So if you guys are successful in capturing an island or part of an island that another realm owns, yeah, just break the stabilizers and the islands will start to detach. Drugris, how important is counterplay in PvP? Extremely important. We've said that right from the beginning. That's something we talk about all the time. You have to be able to see what's going on. You have to be able to react to what is going on. Fly. Yeah, if you're interested in PvE leveling, no, this is not the game for you. Not unless you want to be a crafter, in which case it's fantastic because you don't have to go into PvP to be successful as a crafter. But if you're looking to PvE your way up, no, we don't have the budget. I mean, there's just uh, zero way to do that in today's market and make a game where people won't come in and go, oh my god, this PvE sucks, it is all grindy. Well, Dark Ages PvE, all the PvE from the old school games was grindy, different levels of grindy, but it was grindy. And so no, we're not making that with this game. Maybe a future game, though not as grindy. I have some ideas on that. But not for this game. Will there be the real insane? Will there be titles for ranking up in RVR? Well, of course, of course. I just saw on Massively that EA is looking to do an open world Star Wars game. Oh man, popcorn time! Absolute popcorn time. I think a Star Wars open world game would be absolutely fantastic. God, after what happened with the loot boxes, oh man, I don't know how that's going to work out. And it's a shame. Big Star Wars fan. Wanted to get the license at one point. Was going against ironic John Riccatello when he was over at just gone out of my head, the company that EA then bought, based on BioWare and Pandemic. Um, but so yeah, love it. But man, oh man, EA plus open world. Oh, temptation, temptation, temptation. Yeah, Hotfire it is. And it's a shame because I know some of those guys out there, that are still with EA do actually care about making great games. Unfortunately, I think the monetization desire took hold, and that's a shame. That's a real shame. I have a lot of respect for some of the folks there, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what they were thinking. It was a kind of a joke within the studio. As soon as I think it was either Ben who told me first or JB, and I just roared. I'm like, oh my god, is this going to be a disaster when it's announced? When it goes live, and there was absolute disaster, and it's a shame. Favorite class or realm from Dayak? Yeah, I'm asked that question, all the time, and my answer is nope, not telling. Not telling. Is with the beta, are you expecting to run multiple tests per week or more focused tests? Well, actually, both. I mean, we need to do the impromptus. The impromptus are great, they're glorious, and they're very helpful. And then the more focused tests on the weekends, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We do want to as well prevent burnout. So we won't be running, 72-hour weekend tests because that will burn people out. We're going to do what we are doing now, which is use the scenarios, use other things uh, to get people's attention, and hopefully they'll have a lot of fun doing that. We're a filthy alb. uh, Question from me: do you think when we'll be able to decide about body parts? Oh, during beta 1. Definitely before beta 2. Oh my god. That's part of beta 1. We want to get through with at least one trio and go, was this fun? Because if it wasn't fun with body parts, using body parts for archers, healers, and melee folks, it's not going to be a lot of fun for anyone else. So, no, no, no. Beta 1 is, especially when you look at core mechanics like crafting, like the body part system. We want to come out, we won't come out, let me rephrase this. We won't come out of beta 1 until we know that we are in good shape. So, yeah, that is the whole point. Absolutely the whole point. Go into beta 1, get the classes. If they're not fun, we can't come out of beta. We can't come out of beta 1. Not until they're fun. And fun means, hey, is the body system working the way we want it to? Or do we need to just scuttle it? Mod, see, if body parts don't work as a mechanic, would you like to look to implement some other sort of condition system? Oh my god, of course. Look, body parts was just something that I've always thought was cool and wanted to do originally in Dayak, and then we didn't. And if we, don't like it, I'm happy to yank it out. One of the things about me as a designer, or certainly in a lead role, is there are very few things that I consider, set in stone. Very few. RVR is one of them. But there are not a lot of those that I look at this and go, oh my God, we have to handle this. Have to have this or the game isn't fun. So, if it doesn't work, if we find it's not fun, if you guys find it's not fun, then it goes. I don't friggin' care. I don't really care one bit.
Well, time for me to head out and start setting up.
Okay, I'll see you. I'll probably leave in about 10 minutes.
All right.
Is there still that parking lot not far from it?
Yeah, but sometimes it fills up.
Okay,
But
groovy.
there's another one just around the corner.
Yeah, there's the indoor one and the outdoor one, right?
Yeah, that too.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
A lot of parking.
Okay, so about 10 minutes, folks, and then I got to head out to the play test. So I'm reading. You've been asking a lot of good questions. Got it. Okay, so is asking, frankly, about, how do you get new materials as a crafter? Do you have to go into RVR? Will you be able to have them provided by combatants? And it's a bit of a combination of all of the above. Are there times where you're going to have to go out as a crafter and fight? No, you don't. You do not have to do that. Is it to your advantage to do it? Yes, of course it's to your advantage. It's the same thing with combatants. You could play this game in theory without doing a lot of fighting. You could certainly be doing some support stuff, but that's not the way to play it. It's the same with the crafters. You don't have to go out. You will advance. You'll be able to get stuff. You won't get it as quickly, but you'll be able to get it. So, whether it's you're getting it because you're there, you're going to get it because you're going to have either guildmates or friends, or you can buy it. One of the things we said, even though there's not going to be an auction house, we have said that there may be a words just gone out of my head. Oh, it's been that kind of a week. A commodity market. So you could actually sell, raw materials. So there'll be lots of options for our crafters. You won't have to go into combat to get stuff. You won't have to rely just on the market. You won't have to, rely just on friends. You'll have a whole bunch of options. Release date. What we've said is 2019 is the plan. When we did the investment with the folks up in New York, we sat down and put a number down, and the number, according to the team, is doable. So we'll see. But we are certainly aiming really hard for 2019. We've said we're going to be hiring at a much higher rate, and we have been, at least trying to. So, you know, I want to say I feel good about 2019 yet. I feel good that we're doing everything we need to do to get done in 2019. But the important thing is that the way we're setting up the betas, you'll be playing parts of this game a long time before we go live. It won't be like some other games where you really aren't getting a feel for the game until, it goes live. We want you guys to do that. That's why we're doing the scenarios. That's why we're setting things up. So to remove the parts of RVR that aren't a lot of fun, which is wandering around, and waiting for somebody to fight. We want to get you in. We want to get you fighting. We want you testing the mechanics so that when the game is ready to ship, you would have tested the hardest parts and the most important parts, which is how does combat work? How does crafting work? The rest of the stuff is much easier to figure out, like travel times, and maybe the islands need to be a little smaller, or maybe the boats need to be a little bit faster, or things like that. That's easy compared to the what are the toughest problems that we have to deal with, which is combat. Is it fun? Is it the kind of game we want to make? Is it the kind of game we wanted to make? Excuse me. Is it the kind of game that you guys want to play? That's the biggest pain in the ass, is getting that all right. So the scenarios will help us do that. Freddie, will there be any classes that can be used as a buff bot? No. Will there be rules against buff bots? Um, you can't really make rules against buff bots because, frankly, how do you define a buff bot? Do you define a buff bot as somebody who walks around with you and helps you? Is that a friend? Would you consider a friend a buff bot? Would you consider a buff bot only if they're using a second machine, if they're multi-boxing? Um, and that gets you into this whole sort kind of issues that you cannot solve technically. For example, you could say, "Oh, but Mark, if you have two people coming in off the same address, um, then they could be buff bots." Sure, and it could also be somebody's son or wife or boyfriend or whatever playing. So how can you stop that level of multi-boxing or buff botting? You can't. You can't, because you can't say to somebody, "Oh, sorry, only one account coming in, from the same subnet, or whatever the next one below the subnet is." But what you can do, and we've said that we're doing this, is that we're designing the healers. So the abuses that happened in Dark Age and other games with multi-boxing and buff botting can be dealt with. And then we can put limits on higher number of accounts. So if you see somebody coming in, and frankly, people can get around this anyway, because it's not like people don't know how to mask their IP addresses. Um, if we say that, hey, we see you wandering around with six people and you're moving, like I saw in certain games, and you're moving in unison, and these other folks aren't talking. Sure, then you're buff botting, or sorry, then you're multi boxing, and there's that there will be rules against. But can you prevent somebody from again just having one person play with them, whether it's somebody who's the family member, whether it's a friend? No, you can't. There is no way to do that without ending up taking out a lot of innocent people who are just playing with family members. So the key really, and again we said this right from the beginning, is to set up a system where you can't park a buff bot. You know, sound familiar, guys? Within the castle walls, and then have it do the healing spells or do other spells from a distance or behind walls. So, all that sort of stuff we're going to and already have designed, around. So you can't do that. But, again, the idea of just preventing one player from following another player, whether it's somebody who's multi boxed or it's somebody who, is doing with a spouse or a friend, you can't. There's just no way to do that. Oh, Freddie, sure. Okay, were buffs way too strong? From that perspective, yeah, we need to be very careful with that. But it's both, because we also do have to deal with multi-boxing. I saw multi-boxing in various games can be very disruptive. And so, not a big fan of it, especially when you're talking about, six or eight, accounts and guys running around. So, Coach T. Yeah, exactly. If buffs are short range, and yeah, exactly. You got it. That's the plan. All right, guys. A couple more minutes, and then I'm going to head out to the play test. So be looking for some last questions, and then I'm going to shut it down and head out. And again, for those who were here on Friday, sorry about not being here. For the update, it was unavoidable. It was truly unavoidable. Wish it hadn't been, but there was no truly no choice. Not if I wanted the house to have water. Triple Q. Oh, here's a good one. I love this one. How heavily threaded is the game, dude? Dude. What I can say is we're so heavily threaded that the lovely folks in Intel and us have been having lots of conversations. Yeah, we'll, we will take every single thread on your machine that we can. Uh, that's absolutely the one of the core things about the engine. You know, we will take every core, we will take every thread. There's the old, if some of you folks might remember, or you're before their memes were memes, the comment about all your bases belong to us. Yeah, all your threads belong to us. We will take everything we can to power the game and to do some of the great things we're going to be doing with the engine going forward. So yeah, heavily multi-threaded. And yes, to RAM underscore, perfect way to end this. Yes, we are future proof. That is why we designed it. That's why Andrew insisted on doing it this way. That's why, guys like George have written a great threading engine that we use. Um, it's all about building, as I've told you folks from the beginning, we need to build a great engine. And yeah, it slowed us down, certainly somewhat. It's not responsible for the delays, far from it. But of course, that had something to do with it. But we are building a future-proof engine, absolutely future-proof. Mainly because unless all of a sudden the entire architecture of how Intel and AMD, um, works, which they're not about to do anytime soon. This engine will function no matter how many cores they throw, and only get better and better. So with that, folks, I am going to wrap up this, Saturday afternoon stream. As always, I want to thank you all for your support. I want to thank you for your patience. Expect more good things in the coming weeks. Lots and lots of stuff coming into the game, and hopefully, some new people joining us if all goes well. Um, and I look forward to getting killed by you all, probably all of you, soon inside Camelot Unchained. So with that, bye everybody. I'm off to a playtest. I will see you next or this coming week. Bye.